Welcome everyone to the BS Sports Guy Network, and I am Austin. And today in this video, I'm going to talk about, the past this past weekend's main event between Gregory Rodrigues, and Jared Cannonier. Now I know in Portuguese, the R's or H sound like H's, but I heard some of the commentary say Rodrigues, so I'm not sure how it goes. So I'm just gonna say Rodrigues, keep it short. Anyway, just gonna talk about that fight, my thoughts, and also talk about the Sean Strickland fallout from last week's pay per view, where Strickland lost the UFC middleweight title fight to Jerkis Duplessis in the rematch. A fight I got completely wrong, and just the fallout with the way people view him and stuff with his coach and etc. And all the drama. But anyway, I'll talk about that as well. Hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys thoughts about the Cannonier and Rodriguez fight, and also the whole situation with Strickland. And I'll go from there. Anyway, let's start with this past weekend's main event in the middleweight fight between number 7 ranked Jared Cannonier and rising contender Gregory Rodrigues. Now, Gregory Rodrigues was not ranked, but still he was on a win streak and was a rising contender. I think he was like 6-1 or 5-1, something like that. In his like last 6 or 7, something like that. I know he was on a roll. He bounced back from a knockout loss and was put on a win streak. And Greg Rodriguez was one of the more exciting prospects coming in the middleweight division. Guy's a finisher. Guy likes to finish a lot of his fights. Got power. Even if he doesn't finish guys, he still puts on a good performance like he did against Christian Leroy Duncan back in UFC. I forget what the pay per view number. It was 302. No, 304. The one in Birmingham, England, with that Leon Edwards fought. Oh no, was it Birmingham? No, Manchester, England, where Leon Edwards, lost the belt to Bilal Muhammad. I remember Rodriguez was on that card and won his fight there, and won by decision against Christian Leroy Duncan. Then you had Jared Cannonier coming in this fight, who was on a 2-fight losing streak after losing to Nazanin Mavov and Cal Barajo. And I didn't make a prediction video, but going to this fight, at first I thought Cannonier was gonna win just because of that Rodriguez was unproven and this was a big step up in competition. But as we got closer to the fight night, part of me kind of switched and thought Rodriguez would win just because Cannonier, is 40 years old, so lost 2 in a row, and he's been wobbled or hurt in his last 2 fights. Got dropped by Cal Barajo in 5th round, and got rocked by Mavov. And even though the referee Jason Herzog, who I consider the best referee in MMA, did a terrible job with stopping that fight, because that fight should not have been stopped. It was premature, and it was one of the worst stoppages I've seen. The Cannonier lost to Mavov, but he had been rocked, and like I said, he's 4 years old. He had been rocked, or in the Bravo fight got dropped. So I thought maybe this was the end of Cannonier because of that. But I was wrong, and a lot of people were wrong, because Jared Cannonier won this fight, had a great performance, despite losing the first round. The first round, Gregory Rodriguez did a good job with excuse me, did a good job, pushing pace and landing some good shots in Jared, and dropped him twice. Even though he dropped him twice, it wasn't a 10-8, because Jared Cannonier was landing, so was actually doing decently, was landing some shots, but not as much as Gregory Rodriguez was. Especially, Rodriguez early on went through several body kicks that landed on Jared Cannonier, especially in the beginning of round one. And like I said, Rodriguez was doing a good job with landing on Jared Cannonier with his punches. And and like I said, not allowing Jared to get going. Like I said, Jared did land some shots, but still, Jared didn't exactly land as much as Gregory did in that round. And Jerry himself mentioned in the post fight interview he did on ESPN Plus, where he mentioned he did a lot of movement, but he didn't exactly did a lot of throw a lot of offense. He basically said that in the post fight interview he did for ESPN Plus desk. But Rodriguez did drop Cannonier twice. Now the thing was, Cannonier, got dropped twice. He got pretty quickly. Like he get dropped, but he fell on his butt and he got up before Rodriguez could land any more follow up shots that could hurt him. And one thing that Cannonier did, I think that helped him, that helped him as well, was get a takedown with 40 seconds left in round one. Which I was trying to say before losing my thought was it helped. It basically prevented it from being 10-8, although it really didn't matter. So could have been 10-8, but still it didn't matter because of what happened in this fight. Then round two, Gregory Rodrigues looks like Gregory Rodrigues looked like he blew a lot of his energy into finishing Cannonier, going for punches. Like Rodrigues did through a lot in round one. And like I said, he was trying to finish Cannonier after dropping him, but couldn't land like too many big like follow up blows after dropping Cannonier. So Rodrigues looked tired, and like you could tell like Cannonier had the better cardio. Cannonier is obviously more like 5 round experience than Rodrigues. The UFC show like in the beginning of round four that Gary Rodrigues had never entered round four in his career, and basically the fact he had never done that shows that maybe he hadn't been trained for 5 round main events. Like, well, obviously he hasn't because he hasn't had one, but because he hasn't had one, he hasn't exactly like work on his cardio as much as he probably should. It seems like that's something that Rodriguez is going to have to work on if he ever wants to be a ranked contender and go for a championship, go make a championship run in this division. Is work on his cardio because that killed him here in this fight. And Jared Cannonier clear one second round, landing better shots, rocking hit Rodriguez, like really like doing a better job. Even cut Rodriguez and his underneath his like right eye, landing a very good cut. Clearly got dominated in that round. I forget like the strike differential, but it was clear that Cannonier outlanded him. And it was obvious that he cleared one round two. Round three, it was a much competitive round. Rodriguez got like a somewhat of a second win because Rodriguez was actually landing on Cannonier with some good shots, landing on him landing on him several times. But Cannonier was also landing some good shots as well, especially early in round three. I mean, to the point where Rodriguez had another cut in his left eye, and like it was and like if you see like Jared Cannonier's afro, he had like some of Rodriguez's blood on like part of his hair, and it was like afro. And then but as like this round kept going, like Rodriguez, like seemed like Rodriguez was starting to pull away from the round because he was starting landing a little bit more on Cannonier, landing some more shots. Rodriguez was slowing down and was tired. He was, but he still was going for it. He still has a lot of pop in his shots despite all that. And he was hitting Cannonier. He was rocking him, but it wasn't dropping him like he was in round one. And it looked like Rodriguez was about to, grit through and win that third round until Jared Cannonier caught him with an elbow in somewhat in a clinch with like 20 seconds to go. At first, when I saw it, I didn't know what dropped it. I was confused. Like, what dropped it? What was that? It almost looked like a phantom punch. Like, ironically, like Muhammad Ali and Saint Liston. And I say ironically because if you see the background, you can see the image of Ali's phantom punch or the casting punch on Liston in the rematch. But yeah, it almost looked like that until I saw a replay. I saw that it was an elbow that caught Rodriguez that dropped him badly, and this was the beginning to end for Gregory Rodriguez because Cannonier went through and was throwing some follow up shots, and a few landed, not many, but a few landed that still rocked him. And thankfully for Rodriguez, he was able to make it past round three. But like I said, it was the beginning to the end as Cannonier had once sold around and got momentum. Round four, he just Cannonier went for the kill, landed a big left. Was throwing shots, landed a good body shot that opened up Rodriguez. The hit was two big rights, and Rodriguez fell, and the referee stopped it. And with 20 seconds into round four, as Jared Cannonier gets the comeback victory. Well, yeah, he gets a comeback victory by losing round one, but getting dropped twice, and then like I said, he was probably gonna lose round three before he dropped him with 20 seconds to go in round three. It was a comeback victory, a very good victory. So like I said, Jared Cannonier is 40. He stopped a rising contender. He was on the win streak, and Gregory Rodriguez, who has a lot of knockout power, was able to survive. And the thing with Cannonier is that Cannonier, despite being older and fighting a heavyweight, for those of you who don't know, Jared Cannonier used to be a heavyweight and light heavyweight before he became a middleweight. And, those guys in those weight classes hit hard than middleweights do. Despite getting hit with those shots from those weight classes, he's never been finished at middleweight ever, legitimately. I know the Imavov was a finish, but come on, like I said, it was a terrible stoppage like Jason Herzog. I'm not counting that. No one should. Cannonier has never been finished. Like he's been rocked before in fights and wobble, and and dropped, but he's never been like finished. Like Kyle Barajo dropped in round 5, but he managed to survive and make it through a decision, even though he lost that fight, despite some of the damage he took from Kyle Barajo in that fight. Vettori even rocked him surprisingly in round 1 before he went up and beat the crap out of Vettori for the rest of that fight. So Cannonier, even though he gets rocked, he's very good at recovery and not getting finished and coming back in and not winning fights or make it to decision, not getting finished despite getting rocked. And like I said, he fought heavier weight classes, and yet he hasn't been finished at middleweight. And I mention that because you would think, damage you take from getting hit by guys who have more power, you would think that will affect you as your career keeps going, take more fights. But it hasn't with Jared Cannonier, so that's really impressive by him. And for Gregor Rodriguez, he's got a lot of potential. Like I said, he could be a contender, but I think he's going to work on his cardio. Just work on his conditioning and cardio. And if he can work on that, and maintains knockout. Well, he'll be able to maintain his knockout power because power does not go away. It's the last thing to go in fights for fighters, as the old saying goes. So if he can just work on his conditioning a little more, he can be a contender, a top 10 guy like Jared Cannonier is. He's ranked number 7. And me personally, what I think for Cannonier, what should be next for him, I think he should fight probably the winner of the co-main event of next week's card, or this upcoming week's card, which is Brian Allen and Anthony Hernandez for both middleweights. I think the winner of that fight should probably fight Jared Cannonier next. I think that'd be a good matchup in that middleweight division. I think it makes sense. Plus, I don't think Cannonier's flying those guys, so that'll be kind of interesting to see. We'll obviously have to wait to see what happens Saturday, who wins that fight in the co-main event of the Seattle card, which, despite it, I mean, that Seattle card was super stacked, but then a bunch of fights got canceled, and it's still a good card, despite the all the fights being pulled out, because that's a good main event, co-main event, and a good third card. But I'll do a video about that Seattle card, my predictions, what I think is going to happen. But let me transition from that to Sean Strickland. Now, last week, Sean Strickland lost his title fight to Dricus Du Plessis. Lost 5 rounds, maybe 4. You can argue give the third round to Strickland, arguably. You like I said, it's arguable, but Strickland clearly lost. Got dominated. Dricus shut him down. Didn't have good performance as he did the first fight. Like I thought Sean Strickland could beat Dricus just because how close that first fight was, and plus I didn't think Dricus had made like a significant amount of adjustments to go out and do better than the first fight. Personally, I didn't think he had made like those dramatic improvements, but I was wrong based on what I saw last weekend. And Dricus was able to shut down Strickland. Dricus, despite that, he has that goofy style, but that style works, and he's very powerful, and he has grit. Like he'll push through fights where a lot of guys won't push through in certain situations. Dricus just keep pressing forward and pushing forward and just breaks guys. And that's what he did to a certain degree. I say certain degree because he didn't finish Strickland, despite him finish the other guys, and also Strickland got his nose broken, but yet he kept on fighting. He somehow managed to adjust his nose in the middle of round 4, and then was able to finish the fight despite having a broken nose. But he still dominated Strickland, and it's a lot. And because of that fight, a lot of people have a lot to say about Strickland. A lot of people just shit on Strickland, just acting like he's a bum, he sucks, and then people are very disappointed in Strickland for that performance because they feel like he just was too complacent and didn't try basically. And I know he's having issues with his head coach Eric Nixick, where Eric Nixick went on Ariel Hawani's show and basically just airs grievances out to Strickland, and even seemed like he won't corner Strickland in his next fight, which is like crazy because Strickland, I think Nixick's been there for all of Strickland's career, if not most of Strickland's career. I mean, these two, I mean, he helped Strickland win a world title, so it's crazy to hear that. And like, I mean, he went on Ariel Hawani's show, say he only wants to coach world champions, which when I heard that, I was like, that's such a stupid thing for you to say, Eric Nixick. It's kind of dumb because it's like there's plenty of guys in your gym who won't be world champions, but he has clarified that, and he basically admitted that he should not have said that or gone out, said what he said in the Ariel Hawani show. I think he got a lot of pushback for that, and it was kind of I understand Eric Nixick has every right to be upset with Strickland, has every right because he obviously wants Strickland to perform better because I'm pretty sure him and Strickland went over a game plan, and he mentioned adjustments he made with Strickland, that he was trying, he basically was working on things, and yet Strickland seemed to not try as hard. It seemed like Strickland didn't have as much success. It seemed like he wasn't trying as much as the first fight, or wasn't as much success rather, and wasn't trying at times. So I understand why he's upset. He has every right to. Plus, it seems like there's more situation with Strickland and coach Eric Nixick, according to an MMA YouTube channel called 10-7 May, who is a guy, and I forget his name, and I apologize. I wish I remembered these guys' names because I don't want to shout them out. Shout them out because I thought they did a great job, great video breaking down the Strickland situation. Because one of the guys is a fighter who trains at Extreme Couture, who I think is a coach, or I know he's a fighter at one point. I think he might still be a fighter. Might be a fire coach. Anyway, he's at Extreme Couture, the gym Strickland's at, and Eric Nixick, and he's known Eric Nixick for 15 years, and he basically made a video where he didn't like what Coach Eric Nixick said and disagree with it, didn't like it, was surprised Nixick did it, but then like Coach Eric Nixick talked to him privately and said there's more to the situation and there's certain things that's going on to him and Sean about payments and etc. And which is why which is one of the reasons why he was so frustrated with Sean, and also the game plans, what how he felt Sean fight also was what also frustrated him. So there's a lot more to the Eric Nixick and Strickland situation that people ain't talking about. That channel did a good job breaking down and explaining, and which I'll link to in the comment section. I will link to the video, the interview, so you guys can see for yourself. Because I thought because it was something that I didn't know about that was like, oh whoa, it changed a little bit how I feel about the Strickland fallout, because I understand why Coach Eric Nixick is upset, and if he's upset, if it's true what's going on, then yeah, obviously he has a right to be upset. However, I still don't think he should have aired out publicly like that, because that's not a good look for you to do that to your fighter, especially especially if you haven't talked to him behind the scenes about that. Like he should have like waited. He should have like at least done that before airing before going on the Ariel Hawaiian show or any show period. It doesn't matter if it's Hawaii, doesn't matter if it's Submission Radio, Shmo, name any Guru, myself, whoever. Like obviously I'm not as big as those guys, but you get what I mean. Like you probably should not go on any podcast or any interview form and like go out and just like basically say what he said about your fighter after he just lost a fight like that, especially the way But I also get I also get his frustration though. I'm sorry if I sound like Kacharian or sound like I'm playing both sides or like I'm contradicting myself. But the situation with Coach Eric Nixick and Sean Strickland's that I feel like I understand why Eric Nixick's upset with Strickland. I understand it. He has every right to, but I just feel like the way he went about it was wrong. That's what I'm trying to say, and that he should have like not gone to Ariel and show him ear grievances like that. And he admitted that he messed up with doing that, so he took accountability. So I'll give him credit. And I'm a fan of Eric Nixick. I like him as a coach. He's one of the best coaches in MMA. He has done good interviews. He's very insightful guy. You could listen to him. I could tell why he's had a lot of success. I mean, this is a guy who took over established gym after their head coach had unalived himself. I'm saying that because of YouTube's reasons. He had unalived himself, and he basically, if I remember, stepped up and took over step up and took over the head coaching duties, and he's managed to keep that gym. Keep that gym as one of the best gyms in MMA. Arguably he's gone to have more success with him taking over. And so he's a very elite coach. I'm a big fan of him as a coach, Eric Nixick. So, but yeah, like I said, I just disagree how he handled that. But I also understand why he's upset with Strickland. And plus, there's more to the situation than we know. And I'm surprised not many people are talking about it, especially if like coaches with like financial things between the two of them and like etc. And like I said, I'm gonna put a link in the description of that video so you guys can see for yourself. Do want to shout 10-7 May for covering it because I saw that and it's like, whoa, I did not notice that. That's a very, that was very, it offered a new perspective, unique insight. So I do want to shout them out, 10-7 MMA. But there was also a lot of people, another thing I want to talk about the Strickland fallout is people were just, criticizing him, talking about, oh, he criticizing his style and things like that. But it's like, you guys have known he's always fought like that. He likes to throw jabs and teep kicks. He's very defensively responsible. He's always done that. It's like, and people are like shocked that he did that. It's like, he's always done that. Like, why are you guys shocked he fought like that when he's fought like that for most of his career? And not only that, he won a world title that way. It's like he won a world title. Like, why are people like shocked when he fought the way he did? I'm seeing people act like that he's people acting like he's like the most like he's a bum or that he's like what was the thing someone said? Someone said something crazy about Strickland. He's like the biggest like scary cat. I forgot what was it? Fuck. He said someone said something like he's the biggest wuss in MMA or something like that, which is like that's or biggest I don't know something like that. Basically making fun of Strickland, acting like he's like scared of everything. It's like this is a guy. He's a cage fighter who's a world champion. Like some of the people's criticism of Strickland is like just going out. It's just insane. It doesn't even make sense to me. It's like, guys, he's won a world title. I understand. Listen, there's thing. I understand. If you want to criticize him for always talking, I'm gonna go to war for you guys, fight to the death, bleeding, and fight like that. That's fair. You have every right to criticize that because I can't be annoying when a guy talks like that. Like sometimes Strickland likes to talk. I fight for you guys. Fight. I'm gonna go to war, fight to death, and then you fight like that. You're not trying to be aggressive. I understand that can be frustrating. Oh, sorry for shaking the camera. That can be frustrating to watch as a fan, and that's fair to criticize him for always doing that. That's 100% fair. I agree with that. No problem for me. But to act like he's somehow a bum, or act like his career's done, or that he'll never be he's not a top middleweight, or that he'll never be one again. It's just insane. Like you do realize that this guy's being Nazadin Mavov on a he beat him on a week's notice, coming off a Christmas holiday. He beat Israel Adesanya, dominated him, beat Paulo Costa, and beat Brendan Allen. Four guys who are top 10 or in the rankings. And in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, got robbed against Jared Cannonier. So really, in my opinion, he's beaten five guys in the rank who are ranked, probably five guys in the top 10. And not only that, he probably beats a lot of other guys in that division with that style, if you really think about it. And I think another thing about this, and note that people are not giving Dricus enough credit. It's almost like everyone's talking about Strickland, no one's talking about Dricus, the guy who beat him. It's like no one's giving him his props for his performance. Like I picked against Dricus and I was wrong, but I gotta give Dricus credit. Dricus fought a great fight. Dricus, beat Strickland striking, and Dricus in the first fight got 6 takedowns. This fight, the rematch, he only went for 1 takedown. That's it, and dominated him with that goofy style. Was able to break Strickland's nose, able to land, head strikes and even some body punches, and I think body kicks too, and just fuck up Strickland. And I know people say, well, Strickland should have done more, which yeah, he probably could have. But the problem is Dricus was beating him up. Dricus was beating him up in those fights, and Dricus hits hard. It's kind of hard to press forward and do more when Dricus is landing shots on you and hitting you hard. It's kind of hard to press forward. You know what I mean? So that's something that people aren't talking enough about, and that I'm surprised that I think should be talked about, and Dricus should get credit for. And I'll give MMA Guru credit for talking about it, and his live streams last week. How people are not giving Dricus enough credit, and people are talking about how Sean should have done more. But it's like I understand that, and when Sean did try, Sean was able to press forward. He did land some decent shots on Dricus, but it's kind of hard when you have someone like Dricus who hits hard, laying shots on you with punches and maybe to your face or your gut or your guts or body kicks or leg kicks. That's something that people aren't giving enough credit for. Is how good Drick is for in that fight and how hard he hits. So it's kind of hard for Strickland to press forward when Drick is able to when Drick is landing shots on you, able to hit you over your body, and whether your face, your body, your legs, etc., leg kicks, punches, etc. So that's something that people aren't talking enough about. People aren't giving enough Drickus credit for. It's almost like people are just shitting on Sean, and it's like we're just gonna shit on Sean, and because people don't like Sean for his personality, maybe his fight style, etc. People are doing it to the point where it's taken away from Drickus and his performance, and that's not right. Drickus deserves a lot of credit for the way he fought. Drickus fought a great fight. Drickus, despite how he looks, he's the best middleweight in the world. What do you want me to say? He's very good. He's probably the one guy who probably can be Hamzat Chimaev. Yes, that's a very competitive fight. Maybe when that fight gets announced, I'll give my thoughts on that fight. But yeah, Drickus is very good. I think we gotta give Drickus a lot of credit. Sean is still pretty good. These are two of the best middleweights in the world. Sean Strickland's beating a lot of guys in that top 10 who are ranked, and other guys who are ranked, and probably still beats a lot of them. Sean is pretty good. People need to give Sean credit. And also, I remember seeing like Luke Rockhold talking about, oh, Sean got his nose broken, but yeah, he didn't fall like he should have. He didn't go for it. It's like, Luke, you got your tooth chipped by Mike Perry and bare knuckle fight and quit. Shut the fuck up with that stupid shit, Luke Rockhold. Oh, that so annoyed me. I've never liked Lil Rocco for his personality and things like that. And that shit is like, hearing him say that, it's like, it's stuff like that made me realize this is why I've always hated Luke Rocco. You know, my whole MMA career, fandom, my whole fandom as an MMA fan. I don't know why I said career. Ugh, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. That was stupid of me. But I, but my whole fan of MMA throughout Luke Rocco's career. That's what I was probably saying. That's what I was trying to say. It's stuff like that that's made me hate Luke Rocco throughout his career, and for all my MMA fandom. I've never liked Luke Rocco. It's like, bro, don't talk about, oh, you should have fought, you didn't fall like you're supposed to, this and that, when you freaking got your tooth chipped and quit fighting bare knuckle. When Sean Strickland got his nose broke, fixed it in the middle of the fight and fought to a decision, kept fighting. Unlike you, like, shut up. And then like Dean Thomas is like, Dean Thomas, come on, bro. Like, I don't get. I mean, Dean Thomas he's all right, but it's like I don't I don't know. Like Dean Thomas is someone I've always like. He's all right, but I just don't get how these positions Dean Thomas be getting sometimes because I'm like, he all right, but I don't see what he brings to the table. If that makes sense. Like I'm not the like I don't hate Dean Thomas, but I'm not the biggest fan of him. I also don't. I'm trying to think like as a coach, like who is he? Like who is he? Like who is successful like students other than Tyron Woodley? But anyway, but yeah, like I said, Strickland's a lot better than people getting credit for. He still Dricus deserves credit. Dricus is the reason why Sean fought is a big reason why Sean fought the way he did. Dric Dricus is a big part of that. Could Sean fought a little could have done a little bit more? Yeah, probably. But at the same time, we can't act like Dricus doesn't hit hard and Dricus isn't fucking him up in a fist fight. It's kind of hard to do certain things when your opponent's freaking landing on you at will and just beating you up. Something that people haven't talked enough about. Sean Strickland's still one of the best. He can beat most of these guys in top 10. Drake is the best middleweight. Coach Eric Nixick, big fan. You know, he didn't handle that. He probably should not go. He didn't handle that properly. And he admitted that himself, which I give him credit for. Still a big fan of Eric Nixick, one of the best coaches in the world. And yeah, that's my thoughts on the Strickland fallout with post UFC 312. And also there is more to the situation with Coach Aaron Nixon and Strickland that 10-7 May, like I mentioned, covered. So I put a link in the video, the link to the video in the description or the comment section so you can check out yourself. And like I said, if it's true, then Sean Strickland, that Strickland maybe wasn't doing like the payments like he should have, then Sean Strickland's wrong for that. He should have, then he should like pay his coaches what they deserve, Eric Nixick and what he deserves, if that's true. Like I said, and this like I'm only saying this because this is based on like what Coach Eric Nixick told the guy who's his friend, so I don't know the full story. That's why I'm saying that. But like if it's true, then Strickland was in the wrong there for not paying that Coach Eric Nixick what he deserved. If that is true. And like I said, Coach Eric Nixick has every right to be upset Strickland for his performance and also for the payment situation, etc. Especially since Coach Eric flew out to Australia just to be corner Strickland, etc. We could be helping other guys. So Coach Eric does have a right to be upset with Strickland. Anyway, sorry it took long to get my point across, but I just want to get that out there of the Strickland fallout. Also, shout out to Jared Cannonier for a great performance and Gregory Rodrigues for a fun fight. Like I said, Gregory Rodrigues just needs to work on his cardio because if he does that, he'll be a contender in that division. Probably he can fight for the title potentially if he fixes that cardio. And Jared Cannonier still a top middleweight despite being 4 years old and taking some damage. Like I said, the guy has a good recovery. He's very good at recovering despite getting hurt and rocked in this fight. So shout out to him. Anyway, give this video give the video a like, thumbs up, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are about everything I said. And sorry if I said long. Sorry if I took long, like I said, to explain the Strickland's fallout. But yeah, just want to give my thoughts. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Like I said, I will do the video about UFC Seattle, my predictions. Have a good day, good night, every time watching this, and I'll see you later. Peace.